Right now, you are carrying thoughts, career opinions, and feelings of self-worth that you did not create. They were installed by external actors who needed you to think a certain way. When we hear the phrase mind control, we picture science fiction, microchips, or physical coercion. The reality requires none of those things. The true entry point is virtually undetectable because it disguises itself as safety. It appears as a supportive manager giving you a compliment, an understanding partner, or an algorithm feeding you validation. Because the initial approach felt safe, your rational brain never sounded an alarm. You actively welcomed the control mechanism in. The psychological mechanism driving this installation is called anchoring. Behavioral psychologist Robert Cialdini rigorously documented this process decades ago. This visualizes the mechanics of an anchor. A manipulator creates a strong emotional association, forming a direct neurological link to a trigger. Once established, the behavior follows automatically. The reaction occurs so fast that your rational mind is sidelined before it can intervene. By the time the initial kindness shifts into subtle control, the anchor is already set. You accept the mistreatment because you are programmed to view the source as safe. A successful program does not attack your logic. It deliberately bypasses your prefrontal cortex entirely. Triggering the emotional brain forces the rational brain to step back and shut down its natural defense mechanisms. The Milgram experiment provides an undeniable historical record of this emotional override in ordinary citizens. This chart tracks the escalation of ordinary professionals delivering what they believed were painful shocks. 65% pushed to the maximum voltage. This wasn't malice. The emotional anchor of trusting in authority completely overrode their rational restraint. Human beings are biologically wired to surrender their logic when an established authority successfully activates their emotional triggers. This biological exploit is running on you right now, built into your personal relationships and your technology. The modern application is repetition programming. It is the exact same tool utilized by a toxic partner and a social media algorithm. Algorithms map your exact emotional state, identifying periods of loneliness or anger, and feed you specific content designed to deepen those precise feelings. The operational goal of this repetition is extraction. Keeping you emotionally activated allows platforms to extract more time and manipulators to extract more compliance. Expose a human brain to the same emotional triggers repeatedly, and it generates those emotions automatically, even after the external trigger is completely removed. What feels like a series of independent daily choices is actually a sequence of programmed emotional loops designed to keep you highly reactive and highly profitable. When these programs run unchecked over months or years, the structural damage compounds. The system is designed for structural change. It targets the continuity of your perspective, aiming to replace your internal logic with an external architecture. We saw the extreme version of this in the Stanford prison experiment, which demonstrated the concept of isolation control. Normal students psychologically broke down in just 6 days because the environment systematically stripped them of their power, identity, and any outside perspective. The partner who slowly cuts you off from friends, or the workplace that punishes questions, runs this exact isolation protocol. The goal is to erode your original identity until you are completely dependent on their version of reality. The most successful manipulation programs condition you to actively defend them. If you feel a sense of discomfort right now, or an urge to claim that you make all your own free choices, that is the installed program trying to protect itself. To reclaim your mind, you must execute a cold, tactical uninstall protocol. 5 steps. Step 1. Audit your beliefs. Write down your core convictions and trace exactly who planted them there to determine if they actually belong to you. Step 2. Break the loop. When you recognize a repeated manipulative message, name it out loud. Verbalizing it disrupts the automatic processing and snaps your rational brain back online. Step 3. Kill isolation. Reintroducing any outside perspective, reading outside your algorithm, or talking to someone you were discouraged from seeing acts as a virus that crashes the control program's closed ecosystem. Step 4. Test your anchors. When you feel a sudden, intense emotion, Force a 60-second pause to determine if it is a real reaction to the present moment or a planted trigger firing. These steps form an active, systemic teardown of the manipulator's entire infrastructure inside your brain. Step 5. Control the narrative of your life. Machiavelli understood that the person who controls the story controls every person in it. You have to dictate your own story. Author Robert Greene established a clear philosophy on this. The greatest power in the world is complete sovereignty over your own mind. You now possess the exact knowledge needed to permanently dismantle this architecture. This awareness shifts the power dynamic permanently.